Many people know of Walt Disney for one reason or another. The Walt Disney Company, the cartoons created by him, or even just because of the creation of Mickey Mouse. However, he is often known as the first to bring synchronized sound into animation and cartoons. Disney was the owner of a small animation studio that was just trying to keep from going under. After they were losing inspiration for their Alice series, which was what was keeping them open, Universal Studios stepped in and helped them stay afloat in exchange for Disney to create animations for them. A worker had thought up a new character and decided that Disney would be the best one to bring this character to life. This character is known as Oswald the Rabbit. Disney was the owner of a small animation studio that was just trying to keep from going under. After they were losing inspiration for their Alice series, which was what was keeping them open, Universal Studios stepped in and helped them stay afloat in exchange for Disney to create animations for them. A worker had thought up a new character and decided that Disney would be the best one to bring this character to life. This character was known as Oswald the Rabbit. Disney gladly complied and created what was asked of him. The issue was that Universal got tired of him always going outside the budget and nearly never finishing something on time. After the most recent Oswald animation was released, they cut Disney out of the picture. What's worse, many of his employees left him as well. Despite being left behind by many, he still had a lot of ambition. So he brought together the employees who stayed with him and they brainstormed about the character they needed to create. A rat was suggested, but was turned down among many other ideas. However, they thought a mouse would be better. For a moment, they wondered what the name would be. Mickey was suggested, and it stuck. Then they started working on introducing Mickey to the people. First, UB Iwerks made the original design for Mickey. The animators then worked together and finished the first animation containing Mickey called Plain Crazy. The audiences loved Mickey and he slowly became a staple of Disney's work. Many people enjoyed the new character and so many short films and cartoons came after Plain Crazy before the studio needed something to put the spotlight on them again. Luckily, the first movie with synchronized sound had just come out and was the inspiration for their new animation. Wilfred Jackson and Bert Lewis had gathered to help with this new prospect. People were still split on whether they liked sound or in movies or not. However, this did not stop Disney. It took a while, but they recorded everything and called this animation Steamboat Willie. With Steamboat Willie finally completed, it premiered in theaters for all to see. It was a massive success. Audiences were left stunned as Steamboat Willie was the first of its kind. The first movie with sound sparked massive levels of controversy because it had added sound into a movie in the first place, because it was still normal for no sound to be heard in movies. In contrast, Steamboat Willie was an instant hit and enjoyable for all. Steamboat Willie was the start of their plans, and they started working on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This would be their first feature-length film, and it contained synchronized sound with color. Everyone enjoyed the film, and it was based off a Grimm Brothers fairy tale. Despite that, many people still enjoyed the film. Funnily enough, Snow White was the first in a chain of characters that we call Disney princesses. After the success of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, his studio was now able to create feature films and cartoons peacefully without worrying about dues as much. However, they still weren't done with creating amazing animations. They created Flowers and Trees, Silly Symphony, and Old Mill. All three of these animation shorts went on to obtain Academy Awards. The first park that was created while it was still Walt's time was Disneyland, an amusement park that had so much more planned before tragedy struck the studio. Walt Disney had died while working on housing in Disneyland. People inside and outside the studio mourned for days and missed him dearly. Not only had he been working on Disneyland, but he and his employees were working on another animation feature film called The Jungle Book. Not a year after his death, the film was released on schedule and was the first to be released after his death. Although it was released after his death, The Jungle Book ended up being Disney Pictures' best film for 2 decades. The studio was able to move on and continued making amazing films, cartoons, and animation shorts, and is still one of the best animated film producers. The Disney company continued to grow and produce many different movies that became family favorites, like Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, Frozen, and containing one of the saddest moments in animation history, The Lion King. Disney Co. started buying out different studios to add to their assets. These studios include Pixar, who specialized in computer animation, Marvel, who was a naturally interesting franchise with millions of fans, and Lucasfilm, who gave them ownership over Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Recently, Walt Disney Pictures celebrated their 100-year anniversary, and they were able to become so successful thanks to a simple mouse and a dream.